Hi guys, today we're going to start covering our armature that we made yesterday with color and paper mache. So we're going to use tissue paper to color it. Something you need to keep in mind is if you touch the tissue paper when your hands have glue or your hands are wet, the color from the tissue paper is going to come off of this and get onto your hands and stain them. So our goal is to not touch the tissue paper if our hands have glue on them. So right now I haven't used any glue at all. My hands are dry. So what I'm going to do is go to my tray that has my tissue paper and pick out a few colors or a few pieces I want to use and then move them to the tray that's empty. And I'm going to lay them out so none of them are on top of each other. That's important because we're going to pick them up using our paintbrush, and if they're on top of each other, they're going to get stuck together. So I'm just going to take 4 or 5 pieces and lay them out. Now, some of the pieces might be a little bit big. If they're a little bit big, just take them and tear them in half so they're a little smaller. So notice, none of my pieces are on top of each other. I've moved them from this tray to this tray because I don't need to get this whole pile covered in glue. Other kids could use these. This is my working area and it's okay if I get glue here. All right, tip number 2 for not getting your hands gluey is you want to hold your sculpture where you're not putting glue. So if you're making a bug and you made an egg like this, you could hold it by the toothpick. If you're making a snake or a cactus or you're in 5th grade and you're making one of the big bugs, then what you want to do is keep half of your sculpture with no glue on it and hold it where it's dry, and then let the other half cover the other half with glue and tissue paper, let it dry, and then tomorrow you could hold it on the half you did today while you paper mache the second half. So I'm going to hold it by the toothpick since I'm doing an egg right now. And then I'm going to take my paintbrush, dip it in the glue, and carefully paint glue over my sculpture. So if you're doing a snake or you're doing a cactus, you do the same thing. You put the glue on your sculpture with the paintbrush. Then watch how I pick up the tissue paper. I don't touch it with my fingers. My paintbrush has glue on it, so I touch my paintbrush to the tissue paper and I could pick it up that way. Then I could lay it flat on my sculpture and use my paintbrush like it's my fingers to smooth out all of the edges. So I'm going to use this to smooth it out. So you want that whole piece of tissue paper to look wet. Okay, so again, I've got glue on my sculpture. That way my tissue paper will stick to it. I'm going to take my paintbrush, touch the tissue paper with the paintbrush, not my fingers, lay it on my sculpture, and then I'm going to put another coat of glue on top of the paper. And I want to make sure I get glue everywhere. As I'm smoothing it out, I use the paintbrush like it's my finger to smooth out the tissue paper. But I don't touch it with my fingers because the color will come off onto my hands. So I'm going to take another piece. So your goal over either today or today and tomorrow is to cover up all of the tape, all of the aluminum foil if your sculpture has aluminum foil, all of the styrofoam, all of the newspaper on your sculpture with tissue paper. Okay? So if you could see any tape showing, you need to go back and add some more tissue paper. So I'm going to turn it over. Watch how I do it one more time. Use my paintbrush, tap it lightly onto the tissue paper. I've already got glue here, so I set it on top, and then I do another layer of glue on top. And as I put my layer of glue, I smooth out all of the edges so they lay flat. I'm going to keep going until my whole sculpture is covered.